Okay, guys, so at this point, let's look at join, and then we'll go through split search and sort and filter, and then we're done. So join is basically like if you basically in the previous sessions I make use of words that concatenate, right? I made use of this word in sequence lectures. So basically what join does is basically concatenate two or more two numpy arrays together. So this is kind of like joining two or more single arrays together. So let's say we have R1, which is np dot array, and inside of this array, this is a one-dimensional array, right? One, two, three, and then we have, I'm going to duplicate this and calling this variable R2, and this is 2, 3, and 4. No, no, no. I think I start from 4, 5, and 6. Right, so we have these two different one-dimensional array, but we want to join them together, right? What we need to do is create a variable called R3, right? This is the third array, and then we say np dot concatenate. This is a method concatenate concatenate, and inside of the concatenate we pass in another bracket, right? And inside of this bracket we pass in the arrays we want to join, which is R1 and R2. So at this point I'm going to print out R3 to the screen for us to see the output. So you could see here it joined the arrays together. You could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all joined together. And these are all one-dimensional arrays. And then it created a third dimensional, sorry, a third array that holds a one-dimensional array and then joins both of these arrays together. So let's see how to perform the same operation using a two-dimensional array. So I'm just going to restructure these values right now to become a two-dimensional array, right? So I'll say this, and inside of this, I'm going to create another array, right? 1, 2, and I want to create another item inside of this array. I would have 3 and 4, and I want to come here too as well and create a second array. Uh, this is 4, and this is 5 and 6, and we want to create another array inside of this array, making it a two-dimensional array, saying 7 and 8. Yeah, right. So at this point, let's concatenate R1 and R2, which is a two-dimensional array, and let's print the results of R3, right? So I'm going to do this, and then now you see we have a two-dimensional array here that concatenates or joins both R1 and R2 together. So yeah, so there's one more thing I want to explain. So if you notice here, these are the different items inside of these are the different items inside of this array, which makes it a two-dimensional array. It takes the first item and then adds it to this array. It takes the second one, which is this, right? Adds to this. It takes the third one, and adds it to this guy, and takes this, and then adds it guy, to this guy. And this guy here is basically array tree, which is concatenating both the two dimensions into array tree. Array tree is still, if we check, print the dimension of array tree to give us two, right? So this is still a two dimensional array. So, but there's one thing I want to show us, which is an attribute. It's called axis. Axis is basically used to tell uh, our arrays, okay, we want to concatenate, or we want to join, or we want to stack an array based on these axes, right? So if we say axis, so I'm just going to add this here as another attribute, axis, right? If you say axis and say 1, right, what this is going to do is that it's going to look at these arrays, right, and it's going to stack them together. It's going to join them together because this is, we're saying axis 1, which is by one column, stack them by one column. If I print this, it's going to make a lot of sense. Stack them by one column. um, let me get rid of this and then print out the previous array, and then we'll make compare. We're going to compare them together. I think I should just paste this here for the meantime and then comment this out. And I'm going to write back the axis equals to 1 and then print. There we have this. So I'm going to just copy this and paste here. So what's basically happening here when we used axis is it takes 1 and 2, which is of this first array, and takes 5, 5, 6. So axis, one axis, just by one axis, right? By one axis. So take the first axis, which is just one of it, right? And then stack them together, 1 and 2, and then bring them here array, into one array, right? And then come to the next item. When you're coming to the next item, we want an axis. We want them to be stacked on top of each other, inside of each other, or join them together, kind of thing. So it takes 3, 4, and 7, 8, and then put them inside of one area as well. So if we say want to stack this by 2, this would return an error, right? Because that won't work. Um, I can see it says axis 2 is out of bounds for array of 2 dimensions. So you cannot arrange this on it this concatenate this array for on 2 axes because this is a 2-dimensional array, right? So that's for axis and concatenate. So next we'll be looking at so this is basically joining. Actually, this is how you join arrays in NumPy using join. So we're oh, hi. Welcome. So the next thing is how we use. We're going to look at how to use split, search, and sort and filter, and then we'll be done.